Welcome to Investor's Guide. This is a very special episode. This is our 200th episode, which means we've spent the last 200 weeks helping you make better investments. Today will be no different. We have a very special celebratory episode planned out, and during this episode, we'll be picking out mutual funds, giving you investment ideas, and helping you make more money. Joining me in the studio is Pankaj Razdan, the Deputy CEO of Financial Services at Aditya Birla. Thank you for joining us. Pranav Saika, who joins us now, is EY's tax partner. Pranav, thank you so much, our tax expert. And of course, there is no episode of Investor's Guide without Kumar, who spent the last 200 weeks with us, helping us make better mutual fund investments. Thank you so much for flying down from Delhi to be with us this week. Now, we also have a wonderful audience in the studio today here with questions for all of our experts. And these questions have been picked very carefully so that the answers will also apply to you, which means you can grab a pen and paper and write down the advice you hear. Our first question comes from a young mother. She's investing all of her energy and her hope into her young child. Let's take a look.
The smile on Reena Joseph's face hides a lot of her pain. 5 years ago, when Reena was expecting her son Rian, her husband walked out on her to marry another woman. Reena received neither the closure of her divorce nor the financial support of alimony. Fortunately, her family gave her a little stability she needed. But now she wants to be able to provide for her son's future on her own.
I'm Reena Joseph. I'm a single mom. I'm a mother of a 4-year-old son. I would want to save for his future, for his higher education, for his marriage, keep some money aside so his future is secure.
Reena is a qualified telecom professional who is currently between jobs. She has no health insurance and very low life cover, but she does have 1.5 lakh rupees set aside in savings. Her first priority is to pay off her loans and focus on buying a home.
I would want to own a house in the next 6 to 7 years. That's my short-term goal. I want to set aside some money for my parents each month. This is more of a wish than a real need because my brother and my sister-in-law are taking care of them. So I want to seek your advice on financial planning, on how to go about achieving my goals.
Like any other mother would, Reena wants to offer her son the best education and the best future she can. But unlike most other women, she is going to have to do it on her own now.
All right, Reena is in the studio with us right now. Reena, thank you for joining us. We're very proud of you, and we want to congratulate you for being able to do all of this on your own up till now. And we know it's been hard, which is why we're here to help. But I want to understand from you what your first priority is. What's causing you most concern about your money at this time?
I don't know. See, we've been brought up to traditionally save on, post office and the RD and gold, buy gold, and I have an LIC. So that's my traditional way of saving. So I don't know what else I can do. Probably there is many other things that I'm not aware of. So I just want to know how to do that. I mean, get a direction on how to save for his future, for my son's future.
Well, before we get to that, Reena, we have on your behalf spoken to a couple of lawyers. There is a possibility for you to file for divorce on your own using desertion and adultery because your husband, since you don't have a divorce right now, your husband's new marriage is invalid. You are entitled to claim child support and to claim alimony, and you should because that is your right, and that will help you put aside money for your son. Now, apart from that, and if you need help doing that, our team is here to help you, and we'll be glad to put you in touch with lawyers and take you through that process. But let's start off first, and my biggest concern about your money is that you have no health insurance and no life insurance, which means that if something were to happen to you, what happens to your son and who will look after him? Pankaj, what sort of health insurance and life insurance should we consider at this point?
I think since the whole dependency is on you, on your earning capacity, health is wealth. I think you'll only create wealth when you're very healthy and you can take care of your own self. So I would certainly first of all say that because her future capacity of earning, she has to discount that, or moti in a nutshell we know exactly how much is that amount. I would certainly immediately advise her to go and buy a protection policy. Let's not look at investment in insurance. Just look at purely protection policy. So if whatever your age is, they are another 20, 25 years, whether it's 20 lakh, 30 lakh, 40 lakh, the premiums are very, very minuscule. Unfortunately, premium gets bloated because people want to combine investments and protection together. Certainly first go over there. Second, as she rightly said, you need to have your health insurance. Even if it's partly get covered by your employer, in case you switch over a job, there could be many other jobs where you may not get this benefit, or you may require much more than what you have done it. So some general health insurance for you and the family is extremely critical. To me, once this protects you in terms of your earning capacity, then we'll say that discipline is a third important element for saving, and then looking at options what to want to do. I think these two are very important, and before that, whatever she said is very important to ensure that you take her advice and get all the possible help from the lawyers or their team to go and support you on that.
That you're currently between jobs.
Right.
But you are hoping to get another job, and how
By
much?
the end of this month, in the month.
Okay, and what is your target in terms of your annual income at that point?
See, I normally get somewhere between 5.5 to 7 lakhs per annum.
And how much is it likely that you might be able to save at the end of every month?
See, as of now, I've got a credit card debt, as I mentioned. I've got a gold loan going on. Because that was my savings, so that is what I could, use for in tough times. So I've got gold loan and I've got credit card. That's it. So other than that, I stay with my parents.
Okay. Okay. So a couple of things here. There is a emergency fund. There is a need here. Should that come before paying off that credit card debt, or should it be alongside?
Oh, credit card debt is the worst kind of debt which you can have. So it should be used in extreme emergency. And that should be used only in case of, and I assume that, it has been used as an emergency fund. But that is the first debt. Don't even think of, if you have any gold investment or something, liquidate that to pay that. Because at some future date, you will buy any kind of gold, but, if this credit card debt remains outstanding, and generally at 2.5% interest per month, it turns out it has the potential to, snowball into something very substantial. Get rid of it as early as possible, and you take a lesson that you have to create an emergency fund. That should be, typically in investment of an order that 6 months you don't have a job, you don't have to worry.
So far you have to get health insurance, you have to consider getting life insurance, you have to pay off that credit card debt immediately before you do anything else. That's the first thing we'd like you to do. But for someone who's making 5.5 lakhs a year, she does have a slightly higher this thing because she's a woman, but how important is it for her to consider tax saving at this point right now? Because money saved is money
the first priority definitely would be getting a job. But as soon as that is there, I think the priority should be to invest in a manner that is also tax efficient, thus maximizing her return. So there's no doubt about what my dear friend here said. Health insurance is key, and that would give her a tax rate straight away. Probably life insurance might give her some tax breaks. Investments into, if she's planning a home for the son, taking a loan which would give her an interest deduction or repayment of the loan deduction might be things which she probably can use very easily.
Well, you do have an LIC money back policy right now. How much money are you putting in it?
On a yearly basis, about 32,000 per annum.
Okay. There is a 32,000 rupees in an LIC policy. No real life cover to speak of. Do you want to rearrange that a little bit?
Absolutely. I think that, what Pankaj said earlier, that don't combine insurance and investment. Go for pure protection. Go for pure family health coverage. That should be your priority. And look at it as an expense. Insurance is not investment. Look at it from that aspect. You are buying safety for your family. And once you have that clarity of thinking, then rest of the things will fall in place. And this 32,000 will broadly translate into 2,500 rupees monthly savings. Think of it as an investment, and then you will be at liberty. If you had that investment which was segregated, then today the need for this emergency fund, 2.5% monthly debt, you could have liquidated your investment and got rid of this.
If she does stop putting that money into the LIC policy, can you give her one mutual fund that she can start off with baby steps for all of our female viewers, in fact?
You have never invested in mutual funds. No, then for somebody like you, I would suggest a balanced fund, something like Birla Sun Life 95, which his company produces, or, HDFC Balance Fund or ICICI Prudential Balance Fund. These are good balance funds. These funds are typically 70% equity, 30% debt. Market crumbles, they don't crumble as much. And they are able to reasonably participate, and two, three things which is important while investing. One is getting started with a little more moderated investment, which is a balanced fund. The other is investing regularly. So if you do these two things for next 2 years, I think you would have appreciated it. You will develop a belief in it, and then you can get into more sophisticated financial thinking. But this will be good enough: life insurance, health coverage, and a regular investment plan for as much as you can save into a balanced fund. 2 years later, you can come back and actually share your experience.
All right, we will look forward to having you back again. We hope that helps. And of course, you do know that we're here anytime you need us. We'll take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll give you 4 mutual funds for the future. And for Father's Day this weekend, we'll help one young father save for the future. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching Investor's Guide in ET Now. This is our very special episode. We're at episode number 200. We have an audience in the studio with a lot of questions for our experts. And our next question comes from a viewer who's been following our show now for 3 years. Listen, it's helped him a great deal. Let's take a look at how watching Investor's Guide has helped him make more money.
6 years ago, Ravi made his journey from the city of dates, Aurangabad, to the city of dreams, Mumbai, to work with Dow Chemicals. When he got in touch with Investor's Guide in 2010, he had 500 rupees to spare every month, and he wanted to start an investment plan. With our help, he has now managed to put together a portfolio worth 7 lakh rupees.
I started my investment of rupees 500 in one of the mutual funds. Later, when I started watching the show, I started investing in the debt fund, which later on I changed to a mid-cap fund, then a multi-cap fund, and then finally to a large-cap fund. So currently, I have a portfolio of rupees 10,500, which compromises of all the 4 category funds.
Now, Ravi has a brand new responsibility. 4 months ago, he was blessed with a little girl. And now he wants to focus his energy and finances on her future.
In fact, for quite some time now, we have been planning. I also wanted to buy a house where I need a down payment of rupees 5 lakhs. I also wanted to save rupees 2 crore as my retirement purpose. So please advise, how should I go about this?
Ravi has followed all the advice prescribed by Investor's Guide. He has life and health insurance and enough set aside for emergencies. He now wants to buy a home for his young family and plan out his retirement.
For proof that watching Investor's Guide can actually help you out, we have Ravi in the studio with us. Ravi, thank you for coming in. From 500 rupees a month to a portfolio worth about 7 lakh rupees. That's quite a journey. Congratulations. We're very proud of you. Tell us how you managed to do it.
Initially, it was just just only a one fund. After watching the show, I started just to check on the which are the good advisors. So I started investing in firstly in a balanced fund, then a multi-cap fund. So from rupees 500, it was up to 5,000, then 8,000, and currently I am my monthly investment goes up to near about rupees 10,500.
And now your main goal is to look after your daughter and to buy a home.
First goal is to buy a house, for which I need a rupees 5 lakhs as a down payment. Second goal is for my daughter, which I need rupees 20 lakhs for her education. And also I wanted to save rupees 50 lakhs for her marriage.
Alright, so I first want to wish you happy Father's Day. It's Father's Day this weekend. Happy Father's Day to all of our guests on the panel as well. Pankaj, I want to come to you specifically because this is a question that a lot of dads ask us. There are products called child products, and there's a method that I can use where I can just combine mutual funds that suit my portfolio and use that to invest for my children. Which one suits us better? Which one should we pick? What is the advantage that a child product brings us?
A child product sometimes really helps you only from the concept because it forces you to remain disciplined for 15-20 years. So it doesn't allow you to stop, it doesn't allow you to take money because there are tendencies at point in time. And there are cases, I know people start for the child investment and they pull out the money. So I think if you have a discipline, then you can buy mutual fund, don't have to worry for it. If you believe that you have a tendency at points in time, you can switch and you can pull out the money, then child product is better. Otherwise, the outcome more or less remains the same. It's not very different in that.
He does have mutual funds that he's putting money into. He's hoping to get a home loan, which means he doesn't have it right now. In terms of all of the tax-saving options that he does have the EPS. He's put money in the MPS right now. And also for the benefit of our viewers, what are the best tax-saving investments for someone who's looking at the next 20 years? What should he be considering?
Right, so one is I would feel, I personally seem to like PPF as a good investment for the longer term. There could be equity-linked saving schemes and mutual funds which could be extremely beneficial. There is of course this 50,000 that he can invest under the new scheme that has come out for the next 3 years. He can get a 25,000 deduction, which might be very useful. You could probably look at, you also spoke about a home loan or probably buying a home with your own investment of 5 lakhs if you are planning a loan. A repayment of home loan can give you a deduction of up to 1 lakh every year within the same scheme of PPF, etc.
Virendra, you have a copy of his portfolio right now. You've personally handheld him from 500 rupees a month to 7 lakh rupees. Are there any changes you would like him to make?
He has made the fullest use of all that we have been saying all these years, except that he has not taken note of the not having a sector fund, because there isn't a point of having a banking fund when you own any of these funds. The idea of buying a mutual fund is that you diversify. It provides you the convenience of putting your small amount regularly, and because you diversify, there isn't a role of a sector fund, because when you buy a banking fund, all your equity fund, all these funds, the top 200, opportunity fund, all these are reasonably exposed to banking, and that is the highest allocation of these funds anyway. So that's the only thing. Otherwise, I think you have chosen good funds. I think you have chosen not too many funds, which is also a good thing. Keeping it simple is as important. So don't resist your temptation to add more funds to it.
All right, so resist your temptation to add more funds. And you seem to be on track, and you know that this show is always available to you for the next 4 years at least to hold your hand and take you through it. All right, for all of you who are watching who are wondering which mutual fund you should be investing in, since ET Now is turning 4 years old on the 17th of this month, we're going to give you 4 mutual funds for the future, picked out by Virendra Kumar. And these funds show promise for all retail investors because of their good fund management style and their good track record. So grab a pen and paper and write down these 4 funds.
When choosing mutual funds, it's important to pick funds with a strong long-term track record that offers investors stability, especially during market volatility. Here are 4 funds that you can bank on for the future. If you are an aggressive investor, it makes sense to pick a fund that invests across the market through large, mid and small cap funds. The HDFC Equity Fund and the Franklin India Prima Plus Fund both have strong track records and have given their investors an annualized return of 11% and 9.2% over the last 5 years respectively. If you are a conservative investor, choose a balanced fund that invests both in debt and equity to give you more stability during the market downturns. The ICICI Prudential Balanced Fund and the Reliance Balanced Fund have helped investors tide through rough markets and have returned 9.4% and 12.14% over the last 5 years.
That's 4 mutual funds recommended by Virendra Kumar. We have a couple of more questions from our audience. You had a question, sir?
My question to Mr. Pankaj. My first question is that I think that the last quarter for this year would be a suitable period for investment. Can you please be more specific for the sector investment? This specific query is keeping in mind the forthcoming election in May 2014.
Okay, so I want to make it slightly wider for you, Pankaj. The fact that there are a lot of viewers who are investors in equity. We've seen a tough market, to say the least, especially in the last week where we slipped below 19,000 on the Sensex. There seems to be no glimmer of hope until 2014. What is your call, especially for long-term investors? Should we stay put? Should we be buying more, or should we stay out of this market altogether?
As I always said, I don't think so you're going to get any new wisdom from me. I always said, and it's not my line, it's been a line quoted by one of the famous investors, time in the market is more important than timing the market. So when you have come to equity markets, please believe that you have to stay in the market for a long period of time. And what you see sometimes in stock market is definitely not the underlying fundamentals what the companies are working with. So even in bad market, even in bad economic state, there will be certain good companies who are working very well, who will be doing extremely well in terms of the performances. If you don't have your ability to pick those stocks, I would recommend go back to fund advisors. You go back to either mutual funds or PMS or wherever investment schemes are there. In terms of my view on the market, I think it's unfair to go and say that in 2014 somebody is going to come click over there and things can change. Yes, but market do expect a lot of changes in 2014 because there will be much more stability in terms of the political formation. Once stability comes, decisions get taken, policies get formed, some policies get advanced in terms of action. So you may have some positive things. In terms of actual what's going to happen from here till 2014, nobody will know because it's a function of not only performance, it's also a function of how much money flows into the market. So as much as fundamental are important, technical things are important. It's a money supply game also. If there are no money, even if you do the best of the company, performance is there. If nobody is buying the stock is not going to perform. So my sense is every downfall, if you believe the companies are good, please go and buy it and hold it for a long period of time.
So this is advice that all of us can use as equity investors. If you're particularly interested in investing in stocks, now is a good time to pick the right companies. The companies that you have confidence in and that you have the time to do research in. If you don't have the inclination or the time to do the research, and like Virendra says, start an SIP in a good equity diversified mutual fund. Put in money every month when your salary comes in and keep it in for the long term. The longer you give your time, your money, time in the market, the better it will be. When we come back from this break, we'll give you investment tips from all of our experts and answer more questions in the studio. Welcome back. You're watching Investors Guide on ET Now. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for staying with us for the last 4 years, in fact. The channel turns 4 this weekend, and that's what we're celebrating with a special show here at Investors Guide. And like I said, since we are turning 4, I'm going to give you, as a special gift, one investment tip from each of our experts. Pankaj, for all of our viewers who are watching right now, one investment tip that you think is absolutely necessary for anybody in this market right now.
I'll do one plus one bonus. I'll give it to them. And important because all the questions are very common. I think asset allocation is very important. It answers all of our questions. And everyone, health is wealth. So first start with the protection of your health and your life first. I think that's critical.
All right.
I'm not really an investment consultant. All I would say is do factor in tax in all your investment decisions because that could make a big difference. The pre-tax and the post-tax return could make all the difference in terms of what you finally end up making.
Keep it simple. Don't try, everybody has this deep belief that investment is too complex and you have to, try and find a simple way of doing it. And there is always a simple way of doing it. And you can't understand finance? No. Everything else you can do without. You better understand finance.
Alright, so that's 3 very interesting tips. And I'd like to give you one tip of my own as well, even for all of the parents who watch, because we get so many questions from people asking us to help them invest for their children. It's important for you to invest in your children as well. Spend time with your children, talking to them about money. Show them how it's important to save, how it's important to invest. Take them to a bank branch, open a bank account. Make them comfortable around money because apart from making sure that your children have enough money when they grow up, it's also important to make sure that they know how to manage that money. All right, that unfortunately brings us to the end of this show. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for joining us in the studio. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Of course, the show will go on. We've completed 200 episodes. We look forward to the 200 episodes to come, which means our email ID is at the bottom of your screen and you can write to us. Send in any question you have about your money. It'll be our pleasure, as always, to help you on this show. Thanks so much for watching Investors Guide. Just send her in with a comb now.
That's not a problem. It's up there, yeah?
Swati, why did you write it down?
Swati, where are the topics, sir?
Yeah, I can hear it properly.
Great.
Yes, sir. Can you?
I will also do it. And we are tweeting the packaging also. We have the first thing to
And where is University of Kanhaiya?